Background: in front of a small house, surrounded by houses with earthen walls, red-tiled or thatched roofs. Small yard with a few potted plants. Have you ever believed a story that felt too good to be true? An investment promising overnight wealth, a product claiming miraculous results, or a friend's excuse that sounded convenient but suspicious. In a world overflowing with promises and shortcuts, how often do we trade truth for comfort and honesty for convenience? Truth of convenience. On a quiet afternoon, the Muller knocked on his neighbor's door. His voice was warm, almost persuasive, as he asked to borrow her large cooking pot. The woman hesitated. That pot was precious to her, sturdy, reliable, and not easily replaced. Yet the unwritten laws of hospitality pressed upon her heart. Reluctantly, she smiled and handed it over, though inside she felt a twinge of unease. Days later, the Muller returned, carrying not only her pot but also a smaller one tucked inside. "Your pot was pregnant," he explained with a twinkle in his eye, "and it gave birth to this little one." The woman's eyes widened. For a moment, disbelief flickered across her face, but then, like a soft breeze, brushing away doubt, delight took over. A gift, a blessing. Perhaps miracles do happen. She laughed, thanked the mullah, and embraced the story as if it were truth. Deep inside, she knew pots could not bear children, but the lure of gain was stronger than reason. She chose to silence her skepticism, wrapping herself in the comfort of a convenient lie. Months passed then when the mullah came again to borrow the pot. She handed it over eagerly, her heart already whispering promises of another birth. She imagined herself collecting more pots, more blessings, more unexpected fortune. But this time, the days stretched into weeks, and the pot did not return. Anxious, she went to the mullah's home. He met her with a sorrowful face. "Madame," he sighed, "your pot was pregnant again, but alas, it died in childbirth." Her face flushed with anger. "That's absurd. Pots cannot die," she cried. Yet even as the words left her lips, she felt the sting of her own hypocrisy. Had she not believed the first tale? Had she not rejoiced at the impossible when it served her desire? In that moment, she realized it was not the muller's trick alone that robbed her. It was her own willingness to be deceived. Her greed had blinded her. Her imagination had conspired with her denial, and together they had led her into loss. Life message: convenient truths are the silent bargains we make with ourselves. They appear harmless, a small exaggeration in a resume, a white lie to avoid conflict, a promise of quick wealth in a scheme that feels too tempting to resist. Yet each time we bend reality for comfort or gain, we step further away from the ground of authenticity. In modern life, this phenomenon shows up everywhere. In consumer culture, where advertisements promise happiness in exchange for products we don't truly need. In relationships, where we avoid hard conversations by telling ourselves everything is fine. In work and ambition, where shortcuts and inflated claims seem easier than patience and integrity. In digital life, where curated images and posts present a polished version of reality, while the truth remains hidden. The danger is not only in being deceived by others, but in deceiving ourselves. When we accept convenient lies, we trade long-term clarity for short-term comfort, and slowly, we lose sight of who we really are. Reflection questions. Take a moment to ask yourself, where in my life am I accepting half-truths because they feel easier than facing reality? Have I ever believed something simply because it promised quick rewards, even when my intuition whispered doubt? Do I sometimes exaggerate or hide parts of myself to gain approval? And what does that cost me? How often do I scroll through social media and compare myself to illusions, forgetting that they are curated truths? What would it mean to live with radical honesty, not brutal, but compassionate honesty toward myself and others? If I stopped chasing convenient truths, what kind of freedom might open up in my life? Closing thought. The story of Muller and the pot is not just a joke from the past, it is a mirror for the present. Truth twisted for convenience may bring temporary gain, but it always leaves a shadow. To live awake is to notice when we are tempted by illusions, and to choose the harder, brighter path of honesty. In that choice lies dignity, trust, and the quiet joy of being real.